You've probably heard the phrase, every man's home is his castle. Well, those of us who garden might think about our gardens as castle grounds. Well, here at our studio this year, we have a garden that is in a small way like the grounds of a castle, in that it is surrounded by a moat. Now, it's not a moat of water, it's a moat of chickens. This is our chicken moat garden, and the idea is to have a garden in the center that has a fence around it, and then you sort of skip a little bit of space and you put a second fence around that area, and the chickens reside in the area in between the two fences. And whenever any insects like grasshoppers or any other caterpillars or plant eating insects try to make it through to the garden in the inner circle or the inner part of the garden, they have to go through the chicken moat, and the chickens can intercept a lot of those insects and keep them from getting to our garden plants. Well, the chicken moat is a novel idea, and it's worked pretty good so far. One of the things we were most concerned with when we were constructing the chicken moat was to build it strong enough to where predators couldn't get inside. We started out by trenching 2 feet deep. We rented a trencher, we cut a trench around the outside perimeter, and then we put vinyl coated chicken wire down inside the ditch so no burrowing animals could dig under the wire. Something like a coyote or fox or something couldn't get under there and get into the chicken moat area. But the vinyl coated chicken wire will keep it from rusting, and it should last quite a while. But we fastened this welded livestock wire that's got squares that are about 1 inch by 2 inch. We attach that to the vinyl coated chicken wire at the base, and then all around the chicken moat area we secured it, tried to cinch up or shore up any gaps or openings to keep things from working their way inside. We've seen things like bobcats and chicken hawks and all sorts of things down here trying to get the chickens, but luckily they've survived 100% so far. Right here is the gate that we come in to get to the center of the chicken moat or to the garden, and you can see we've got a chicken underpass here. We've got this treated wooden tunnel here and just some landscape timbers here, kind of stair-stepping and just mounded soil, so we can come in, walk over this area, and the chickens can go back and forth underneath here without any problem. Well, we've already harvested a lot of produce from the garden inside the chicken moat, and you might suspect that some insects can fly over the top and make their way into the garden. Well, if that happens, you can include a gate that opens from the chicken moat area into the center garden like we've got right here. And if there gets to be a population of insects that gets built up inside here, we just open the gate, let the chickens come in, and they'll clean up those insects inside the garden. Now, you don't want to leave them in here for a prolonged period because, as we found out, they can scratch some of the plants out of the ground, especially if they're young. Some of the vine crops work well to shade the chickens. We've got some hyacinth beans growing right here. Now, this is a plant that's primarily grown as an ornamental, but it does produce edible beans. But we've used cucumbers and some cantaloupes and a few other beans and things like that to provide shade for the chickens, and does quite well to grow on the inner wall of the moat. Laura has devised an interesting trellis system with some stakes of bamboo. She just moves those out from the fence about 8 inches to let those vines get a head start. Too close to the fence and the chickens can get to those. We've got some millet that is coming up outside in the chicken moat here. This was some of the material that was in the feed that we gave the chickens. So we're just going to leave that, let it go to seed, and have a little bit of extra food for our chickens. Some of the produce as well, if it gets too large, some of those cucumbers and things that we don't get harvested, Laura will take some of those and just give those to the chickens as well, and they will feed upon those. We've got a water system set up for the chickens. Laura will come out and feed them once a day. We built a chicken house or a chicken coop known as the hen's inn for the chickens to go inside. There's a little ramp where they can get in there. They go in and roost at night. We've also got some nesting boxes where we occasionally get a few eggs. that is another benefit to having a chicken moat, in that you get to harvest a few eggs from time to time. Now, if you live in a rural area, there's probably no problem in putting a chicken moat on your property. But if you live in town in Oklahoma, it's a good idea to contact your city officials to make sure that having chickens is allowed. It's also a good idea to check with your neighbors to see if they mind. Now, we would like to thank Laura Payne, our garden manager, and also Charlie Gray, Shane, and Joey, a couple of our student helpers, who helped build our chicken moat this spring. I think they've done a wonderful job. Well, you might think about having a chicken moat in your property, and that way you can protect your very own garden castle grounds.